Hi there, Ahmad Austin here. In this lesson, we're going to talk about creating an expressionistic landscape using a brush. Normally I use a palette knife, but in this particular lesson, we're going to use a brush. The tools that you'll need is a large flat brush, one medium flat brush, and a small round brush. So the picture kind of give you an idea of what all you need for this particular lesson. The colors you'll need are ultramarine blue, hooker's green, or you can also add a light green to it, white, cerulean blue, cadmium yellow, and kind of went by fast, but cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and green. First thing you're going to do is paint your surface bright red. The surface that I'm using is 11 by 14. You can use something close to this size or something smaller. And what you're going to do is fill up the whole entire um, canvas board just with the bright red. You want to get out in between all those empty white spots as well. And I'm painting this pretty fast, so you can do this as well. Not trying to make it perfect, just want to cover up the whole surface with the bright red. You'll see later on why I painted it red. It's going to have a nice unique effect, the red background. I'm going to let some of that red show throughout the landscape painting. Alright, now that we got that finished, I'm going to kind of touch up any little small areas that I didn't get. Alright, what I'm going to do now is outline my picture, my drawing. I'm going to use a basic drawing. What I'm going to use is a white. You don't have to use a white to outline your drawing, but I'm using a white for my outline. And it's pretty simple. Just draw a few horizontal lines and draw a few trees. So here I'm using a round brush to draw my outline. I'm drawing a diagonal line kind of over to the right. This is going to represent sort of like my river. Draw a few vertical lines for my bark for my trees. And here just kind of draw just an outline for your leaves on your trees. Have a few touching the top edge of the canvas, and down at the bottom of your tree you want to leave a little space for your bark and before it touch the horizontal lines, and have a few of your trees run off the edge of your paper so you can give a nice composition. That diagonal line over to the right gives a nice composition over for the overall look of the painting. So you definitely want to do that. Draw lightly. You don't have to make it perfect, just a few loose lines, and just go ahead and move on to your color. Now if you notice, when you create your palette, have your color set up similar to a color wheel for mixing. You see I have my light blue all the way down to my dark blue to my green, yellow, red. I left a little room to mix my orange and on around to the purple. So first thing you want to do is definitely mix your color for your sky. You want to give it a nice blue. This may be a little bit too dark, so I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. You can do this as well. And you always start with your background first and you work your way in to your foreground. So you'll see me do that. Here I'm using my medium-sized flat brush for my background. And I'm just going to get all behind those trees. I kind of use the different variations of that blue mixture that I have, that light blue mixture that I have. So you can do this as well. Just getting up under those leaves of the trees. Again, your trees don't have to be perfect, but as long as you leave a nice negative space between your ground and also at the top of your canvas. On this particular paint, I'm painting loose. This is a good exercise to practice painting loose. A lot of times, people who move from the brush towards the palette knife, they have a hard time painting loose. This is a good, excellent exercise to start painting and practice painting loose. So I think I'm starting to fall in love with the brush again. So I've been painting with the brush for a couple of days lately. So hopefully this painting inspire you to kind of play around with the brush as well. Just kind of give you some inspiration. Just to paint overall, whether it's a brush or a palette knife. So right now I'm getting my water together. Let's make sure I rinse out my brushes pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to move on to my trees. I'm going to use a nice dark green. I'm mixing a little blue in my green to make my trees. Now when you paint your trees, or when you paint the next object, allow the red to show in between each object. You kind of want to allow the red to kind of be like an outline for your objects. If you notice, I did not let my green touch my light blue. I want that red to show. It's going to give a nice cool effect, and I try to do that throughout the painting. Sometimes it's kind of hard. Sometimes I forget. You probably will too, but allow some of that red to show. Don't let those two colors from two different objects touch each other. You want to allow that red kind of be like an outline for your for each object in the painting. Also use a variation of dark hues for your trees. So I got some real dark with just dark green, some with a little blue in it. So just kind of mix it up. If you notice, if you ever paint trees, there's not just one hue of green. So you definitely want to give a variations of different greens. My two trees over to the right, I'm going to lighten those up just a little bit um, with a little bit more yellow, just to kind of break up the continuity of the trees. Again, you notice I'm not letting my green touch my blue sky. Don't always get it perfect, and you won't either. But just try to be conscious of it. I know it's kind of hard when you're painting and kind of getting in the zone of painting, but just trying to keep it at the forefront of your mind to kind of allow that red to show. It gives a nice overall look, different look for the painting. And this part that I'm doing, I kind of call this my first layer of painting. And as I move on, I'm going to go to a second layer and a third layer. When I get to the third layer, I'm kind of pretty much just adding highlights in different areas of the painting. Since I have some of the green on my brush, I'm going to add some of that green throughout my landscape. Just kind of go horizontal lines going straight across in different spots. I'm going to fill that whole area with different colors from my color palette. Again, remember to paint loose. Don't have to be perfect. Over here at the bottom right, below my, I guess you can call it river, I'm going to have this area particularly light green, dark green. And I'm going to, and what you can do is use your brush kind of going in an upward and downward motion to make it grass. Now I'm going to add some blue. I love light blue, so I'm going to add a little light blue. You can do the same. I'm going to add some of that light blue throughout my painting. Again, we're going for an expressionistic type of painting, so I'm going to add a lot of color throughout the painting. And I'm going to start with my light blue. You can use the blues, same as the blue that you have in your sky. Just put it out and put it in different areas. Put some over in the trees. Put a little bit over in the river. And I'm going to add my dark blue. I'm going to cover up my dark blue with, cover up my river with the dark blue. And this is like the ultramarine blue. As you can see, I kind of forgot to show some of that red, but I'm going to come back in and kind of fix that. Paint real loose. If you notice, I'm painting real fast, not trying to go for perfection. I was trying to get perfection all through college and in my beginning stages of painting, but as I evolve, I kind of strayed away from that. Just kind of paint loose and paint how I feel. So I would encourage you to do the same, especially if you took, various painting classes. A lot of times they teach you how to paint rigid and tight. And I know my site and my lessons are not for everybody, so I'm very loose. I don't try to paint perfect. Used to when I first started painting, but not anymore. So this is for you if you want to paint loose and just relax and just enjoy painting. Um, these lessons that I provide will be, hopefully they'll be helpful. I'm going to add some of my light blue, just kind of mix it up a little bit, give it a little dimension. You can do the same. You don't have to paint exactly where I paint. So now I'm going to start on part two, just adding color throughout your landscape. So got the blues down, got the greens down. Now I'm going to add start adding color to it. I'm going to start with the orange. Here I have an orange mixture. I'm just going to put some at the top. Most of the time when you put one particular color on one part of the canvas, put that same color somewhere else on your painting. Just kind of give it some balance. And I'm using all types of strokes for this particular painting. Some up and down, some kind of horizontal strokes. So I use a lot of pastel colors in this particular painting. You can too. You can go with the upward, back and forth strokes. Turn your brush sideways to kind of get some thin lines. You can do the same. As you notice, I'm putting a little yellow over here, a little yellow over there. Just kind of give the painting some balance. You can use your own judgment, pretty much of how and where you want to put the painting. Big strokes, small strokes, however you want. Whatever pleases you. The main thing, paint loose and just try to practice on making your colors work. Again, I'm going to use a little violet, lighten it up just a little bit, and I'm just going to add a little bit over here, a little bit over there. And I'm using my lines that I drew earlier, just kind of as a guide. If you notice, I'm just painting right on top of them. Again, allowing some of my red to show, my red background to show. You're gonna add some pink. When you use the brush, kind of use the back end of the handle. That way you can have more control and be more loose. And you can use your paint with your wrist, so to speak, when you're creating those different brush strokes. Add some green. I'm going to add the second layer to my trees. I'm going to use it like a light green. Allow some of the dark green to show. When I add my second layer, I kind of allow the paint to be a little bit transparent, so you can kind of do the same. So allow some of that green, dark green, to show. Use some of the green in my landscape at the bottom. Put in some more violet. When you're painting, you kind of use your judgment of what color. Pretty much allow the painting to tell you what color it needs, so to speak. Once you start putting in different colors, your painting kind of talk back to you and let you know what colors need to be added, so to speak. Remember always to step back too, to kind of look at your painting, just to help give you an idea of what you need to do and how you need to modify your painting. A lot of times when we up close on the painting, um, you kind of lose focus of what needs to be done as far as adding color or shapes or lines or texture or whatever. Here I'm just filling in those empty red spaces, but still allowing some of that red to show. You notice I'm using skinny lines, thick blotches, just different variations. Alright, part 3, now I'm going to add the third layer of paint. Here I'm adding my green grass over to the right. I'm still using my flat brush and I'm turning it sideways to give some nice skinny lines. As I move on, I just add lighter green by adding yellow and white. You can do the same. Kind of let the bottom part be dark, the middle part be kind of like a medium green, and then at the top make it light by adding yellow and white. And put a little bit at the bottom, just kind of give it some dimension. And it's okay if you paint over the purple, the blue, or whatever color that you have down already. If you notice, the paint is transparent, so you still see some of that dark green grass, and also you see some of that red. And I'm coloring my bark of my tree, trying to get a brown. If you ever want to make a brown, you just pretty much mix all your primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. I already had green, so I just add a little red. It's looking pretty good. I like it. Want to add some more yellow. Need a little bit of yellow at the top. Now the way I place my colors may be a little different. You don't have to place your colors the same way I have mine. Yours could be a little different. But I encourage you to kind of step back from your painting, and if you, let's just say if you have a lot of yellow on the left side and you feel like you might need some yellow on the right, do that. Just kind of use your own judgment. Step back from your painting and use your own judgment. Your painting does not have to look exactly like this. The main thing is I want you to just learn how to play with color and also, paint loose. And this is a easy, fairly easy drawing to paint from. You got your trees at the top, a few horizontal lines over to the left, and your diagonal line going down to over to the right and the bottom. So pretty easy to draw, and you just fill in the color, so to speak. Just paint loose. Add some of your light blue in your water. Just kind of represent like highlights in your water. I'm pretty much using the same light blue I have in the sky, and I'm bringing some of that same light blue down throughout my painting. This is to help give balance to the painting. Here I added some white, just a hint of blue, just to play off that color. Just feel a little lines just to kind of represent grass and highlights. I love yellow, light yellow, so I'm gonna add a little bit of that in over here, my grass, and also in my landscape over to the left. I just think that yellow and that blue makes the painting pop. The light blue makes the painting pop. So those are actually my two favorite colors in this painting. I'm getting close to finishing. Now this painting took about mm, uh, 30, 45 minutes. It may take you about the same or a little longer, which is totally fine. Just take your time. You have to take a break, that's totally fine. And come back to it. And add some highlights in my trees, also in the grass in the background. Put a little of that same light green in my landscape. Just work it around and throughout my painting. And a little bit more white down at the bottom. And that should be it. Just kind of help give a balance with the white at the top over to the right. And that should be it. Looks good. It looks good. I like it. Give this particular lesson a try. I love to hear your feedback and comments. Thanks for watching. I hope this inspire you to pull out the brush. Thanks so much.